Okay, dear friends in Dhamma, we are going to start the last Dhamma discussion. As usual, Sharon is ready with written reports. So we will see what are the written reports.
There was a nice answer. There are 11 reports,
Okay.
And one Dhamma question.
Right.
When most venerable Bhante, sitting meditation. Start with Anapanasati, shortly breath subsided and went to the empty state for almost 1 hour. Came out of it to a distant thought. This is the longest I have been in this state. Normally it lasts only for about 30 minutes. Walking meditation. Aware of the touch sensation, thoughts were less, would arise and pass quickly. Large gaps between thoughts. Walked effortlessly. Mind was not in a particular object. Bhante, I mentioned the day-to-day experiences on Friday. Today I have nothing new to say, except the peaceful feeling was there till the end of the day. When images appeared on the mind, the letting go was quicker. Do you want to say something there, Bhante? Because it's quite long after. There's some more.
Okay. Keep going.
Go ahead. Yeah. Okay. On Thursday night, when I did the sitting after attending 2 funerals and listening to the grievances of others, I noticed the following. Although I started with Anapanasati, shortly I noticed arising and passing of thoughts, which came one after another. They were a mix of images of the lady who died and raga sanya, etc. I noticed the mind watched without reacting to any cause, whatever arose, good or bad. Left quickly, since there was no intervention. All thoughts were random and unrelated. Walking was also the same. Mind was bombarded with arising and passing of thoughts, but the same was done as in sitting. Bhante, my question is whether a raga arises or viraga arises, dvesha arises or advesha arises, are we supposed to treat it equally? Samasita to both. I don't react by pushing away bad thoughts or good thoughts anymore. How do you prepare the mind to have samasita towards dispersed mind and a state without any thoughts also?
It's a good question, very subtle question in a way. So as we are progressing, so different ups and downs of the mind, as we already discussed, certain ripples of the mind can happen. They can occur in many different ways. One way is that you can encounter different thoughts, lustful thought, angry thought, and kind of dispassionate thoughts, or else sort of the thoughts of loving kindness. So both are there, but typically it's all right to have a little bit of, say, opening for the positive, wholesome thoughts, but later probably we need to abandon that as well. Because if we keep allowing the unwholesome side, there is a possibility that they might overwhelm the mind. But we need to have a little bit of a understanding a certain amount of risk that we are running. But slowly as we are developing, none of the thoughts may remain in the mind for a long time because we are not feeding them. So how much we are able to maintain a kind of a distance, kind of a separation between thinking and our observation, then none of these thoughts are capable of sustaining themselves for a long time. Because we are the ones actually feeding these thoughts. But if we have completely maintained a fair amount of distance, then they themselves have only very less capacity, and they may come and then stay for a while and then they disappear. And the mind usually have to come back to that calmness, have to come back to that emptiness. That is the basic principle. So if we consider, say, example from the Dhamma point of view, say, Patinissagganupassi. So whenever different kind of phenomena arise, Buddha say, okay, you recognize it and you relinquish it. And where are you revert back? So you revert back to the emptiness. Nothing is there. So basically the clarity is there, that's it. Nothing is there in the mind. So it doesn't mean that phenomena won't arise. Phenomena can arise, but Now you are practicing in a way to relinquish whatever arises, and they naturally pass away, and sometimes you don't have to purposely relinquish either, because you know that they are anyway passing away. If something is arising, then it is supposed to pass away. They are destined to pass away. So you can simply watch without much being disturbed. As a result of your dispassionate attitude, they may simply pass away, and you can simply sustain this clarity of the mind, calmness of the mind. Now, as you said, there are various other circumstances possible. Now you are going to the funeral and people are grieving and all that maybe appear like disturbing, but after a while, once you get this sort of secluded, again mind settles, because you are not promoting such kind of a thinking, such kind of any proliferation. So without your own contribution, so they can't stay for a long time. So therefore, I think what you are doing is correct. Your experience and the observation are also correct. So this clarity, calmness, emptiness, though these things become more and more accessible to us. So at first they appear like, very seldom and very random, but later they become very much like the norm of the mind. So if you want any to discuss, please raise hand, then we can have a further discussion, else we can proceed. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
To say that anicca, dukkha, anicca, sankata, paticca samuppanna, and
right.
then those thoughts coming round and round, as you so-called vatavalallayam, it stopped
correct.
from there.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I feel then that's also another thought.
Another thought, you mean?
Anitya.
This is a little bit.
That is the nature of the mind that comes, and so you have to be like to, as you correctly said, sit back and watch simply the thoughts coming and going.
They will disappear by themselves. We don't need to even say anicca dukkha anatta or any anicca sankata samuppanna. So this is a kind of a reminder, short reminder.
That comes automatically because I have practiced.
It's
that
okay.
for some time.
It's not no harm. It's okay. That's why, as Buddha mentioned in the Indriya Bhavana Sutta, as we are growing, we don't need very, distinct type of Vipassana technique to abandon these things. It is enough for you to have a little ashamed. Exactly. Because, these are again coming, and I was dwelling in emptiness, but they have again come, and probably I might have a little bit of inclination towards that. Now mind is trying to grasp it. Now assume that you get the sort of reminder from the mindfulness, and Buddha say, okay, attiyati harayati jugucchati. That is enough. We don't need to go back to anicca, impermanence, or unsatisfactoriness, or non-self, and all these different Vipassana techniques. Those are also not necessary at this level, because the more clarity and the calmness and the emptiness is very much the norm of the mind. Now you can simply look at it and it will disappear, and you can simply be aware and it will disappear. Or, as Buddha reminded, okay, you are making a kind of an urgency. Okay, this is not the place I want to be. That agitated state is not the thing that I want to be. I like to be here. So again, it's shameful that mind is doing this, something like that. So then that very attitude is enough for return the mind to that whatever the calm, relaxed state. So therefore the techniques that we apply become more and more very subtle and less, it doesn't make much friction to the mind. So, because sometimes technique itself may be little weighty. So, but later we may understand, okay, nothing much to do, okay, they are coming and then they'll let go. I don't want to bother. Like Viraganupassī. So Viraganupassī particularly mean that you don't have much about interest about what's really going on. You mind your own business, and they come and go. Because if they come, they are destined to go. something like that. So we trust that insight in a way. Yeah. Oh, you have another one. Okay. Good.
Question number 2.
Right.
Okay. There are 3 sub-questions on that. Avasarai Swamin Wahanse, hope that you are well. Question number 1. I have done metta meditation for some time now. I have had experiences where I saw the people I was doing metta to being attacked.
Being attacked?
Yes.
Attacked or attached?
Attacked.
Mm-hmm.
So then it went to me circling the people I was doing metta to. I decided to do metta towards the attackers. And then a golden glow came from me. The attackers vanish and everything goes black as it felt like a huge surge of energy. Is what I did correct?
Is it an imagination or they really attacked? May I know who has written? And yours? Okay. Or is it really the people really physically attacked, or they made some sort of can you explain a little bit?
Well, when I see it, it's like when I do metta, it just randomly comes. When I do metta, for example, my parents, like some things just come, and then I don't know whether it's my imagination or just what I'm seeing when I'm meditating. So, and then I decided to do metta to the attackers because it was making me scared as well. So that's what I did.
Sorry? They were making what?
It was making me scared as well. So that's why I did metta to them. The attackers, I can't really see what's attacking. I can just see arrows kind of thing, something like that. And then I did that, and then they vanished, and then everything just went black.
Okay. So I think you are visualizing, right?
I'm assuming
Whoever
yes.
the attackers, you are visualizing.
I'm assuming yes.
Assuming. Okay. So that is merely mental then. It is not really that people are attacking or sort of something, but so various kinds of thoughts appear and they have certain kind of an appearance, and then you even spread metta towards that also disappear. Is that correct? Okay. It's all right. That's okay. Actually, in the real metta, we use the real persons, real in the sense, the tangible people, and we take someone and then we spread metta to him or her.
Yeah.
You did, sorry? That's what you did?
Yeah, that's what I did. And then when I was doing that, and then they were getting attacked. I don't know why.
They were getting attacked?
Yes. So it's like a black cloud coming through.
So you are visualizing that they're being attacked?
Not on purpose, no.
Not on purpose, I know, but but what I'm asking is now whoever, to some person that you are spreading metta. Okay, now you are visualizing that particular person. Say your mom, and then you are spreading metta to her, and at that time you visualize someone is coming and attacking her. Am I correct? Is that perhaps going on?
Black cloud, yeah.
Black cloud is coming, okay. And then you further wishing further well and something, then the cloud disappear.
Yeah.
Okay. So what problem?
And then it just, everything disappears.
Okay.
And there's nothing.
Nothing.
I don't know what to do and there's nothing.
Yeah, okay. That's a good thing anyway. Now, the thing is, in metta meditation, we are still dealing with the conventional level, where we have a mother, we have father, and we have myself also an individual. So likewise, we are dealing with the sort of conventional level. And then I wish my mom get well and something like that, and so something. And then, as you said, there may be certain kind of a hindrance again, intruding or disturbing this process. And as you are continuing, that also disappear. And even the image of the mother also have disappeared. That is possible. At that moment, better you come back to the body basically.
Okay.
So you come back to the body and see what are the sort of sensations available, what are the kind of feelings, are you feeling really happy, kind of pleasant, any kind of goosebumps there, any kind of pleasurable sensations are there. So likewise, now we can turn into the Vipassana, in the sense that we are not going to a person as such, but these things are kind of sensations that we can really feel. And you don't need any names or labels or any thoughts even to know them, that you are simply knowing them. To label them, but rather you can simply feel them, you can experience them. So you can put your attention to those experiences and observe what's really going on there. You're turning actually from metta to vipassana in a way. So metta we are using just to prepare the mind to some extent, and once that is almost like disappeared, you can come back to the body, and if there are any kind of bodily sensations, you can make use of them to observe. So how they are coming, how they are behaving, how they are disappearing, or how they are changing, like that. So your practice may have to change at that moment. Okay. Yeah.
I think you answered for the balance as well.
Okay.
Swami answer. So question number 3, Venerable Bhante, at yesterday's Q&A session, you advised someone who said they can stay without thoughts as they progressed Anapana to let the thoughts come and to name those thoughts. Example, anger, love, hatred thoughts. Then let it go. But at the Dhamma sermon, you mentioned that it is a beautiful state to be in thoughtless state. I am a bit confused whether we are to maintain a thought-free state or to watch the thoughts and let them go. Or do you mean when the thoughts come not to give them a name? Treat them as merely a thought, because at the end there is no thinker either. Is bringing your mind to such state called Sovan Pala. And as we keep practicing and improving, one can gain Rahat Pala. Question.
Actually, this is a kind of a practice. We can't deny that these things are not leading to any kind of an understanding, not leading to any kind of path and fruition. Because you can see in the Indriya Bhavana Sutta, as we already just mentioned, now the Indriya Bhavana Sutta starts with a practice who is conducted by a kind of a person who is still practicing, in the sense not a noble person yet. And he's seeing, he has certain amount of mindfulness, he has certain amount of concentration, wisdom, and when certain agitations are going on, so he recognizes it, and then come back to the calmness, come back to the equanimity. Again, another agitation happen, maybe a like, maybe a dislike, maybe a confusion, maybe an agitation, or any kind of a defiled, agitated state happen. Rather than staying there, coming back to the equanimity, coming back to the emptiness, coming back to the equanimity. So as we continue this path, so in one sense, so without grasping, you can't make a strong self. Without grasping, you can't make a strong self-view. Grasping is very much like a prerequisite for us to have a sense of I. Upadayati auso ananda asmiti hoti no anupadaya. So this is the theory. So Venerable Punnamantani Putta teach a lesson to Venerable Ananda during his first stage of the monkhood. Ananda, when there is grasping, then only the sense of I would arise. So without grasping, you can't have that strong sense of I. So what we are doing is very much like we are reducing the grasping and maintaining the non-grasping state of mind for a long time. And there is a possibility to abandon the Sakkaya Ditthhiya as well as a result of this practice. So, the body-related grasping, the Rupa Khanda grasping, one way of grasping, feelings grasping, another way of grasping, getting deluded by various perceptions, various signs appearing in the mind, and then grasp that, another type of grasping. And then certain kind of obsessive thinking going on, and you are completely deluded by thinking, another type of grasping. And then as we hear, smell, taste, see, think, again we assuming that there is a person doing it, another kind of a delusion, another kind of a Sakkaya Ditthhi, another kind of a grasping. So lesser the grasping, lesser the Sakkaya Ditthhi, and the more you can maintain an ungrasping state, represent that now a fair weakened type of grasping is there, that means fairly weakened kind of Sakkaya Ditthi is there. So mere not grasping the form, still grasping some kind of a perception, still grasping some sort of a thought, indicates still certain amount of Sakkaya Ditthi is there. But if we are capable of abandoning Sakkaya Ditthi, all five aggregates, then there's a significant weakening of the Sakkaya Ditthi. There is a possibility to one attain to the whatever the Maggaphala. So that's why in the second stage of the Indriya Bhavana Sutta, Buddha's advice is to Aseka Puggala. Buddha's second stage of advice is not going for a typical person, it's going to a trainee. So the trainee, he doesn't want to do much of a struggle to release the mind. It is a quick reminder, quick little bit of being ashamed of what's going on is enough for the mind to revert back to that calm, relaxed, unattached state. Because he already understood, okay, this is the place I have to maintain. Non-grasping state without making strong I, without making strong self. Okay, this is the refuge that I have to maintain. But due to some sort of ignorance, due to some amount of latent tendency, again the mind has gone and agitated and grasped, but I am not recommending it, I am not really approving it. So I am ashamed of that. So Buddha say, okay, that very attitude, that very little bit of shamefulness is enough for mind to return. Now this is for the practice for the Seka Puggala. This is for the practice of the trainee, not a mere beginner. So as a beginner we can't do that. I mean, when thinking is going on, you can't simply ashamed of that and then mind simply behave very well and, completely become empty. It won't happen for a beginner. So you have to do a lot of practice to achieve the emptiness, to dwell in emptiness. So later, dwelling in emptiness becomes the norm of the mind. It has to be, very much like. So therefore, the question...
So basically, the yogi is confused when you basically I'm a bit confused whether we are to maintain a thought-free status or watch the thoughts and let them go.
Yeah. So when thoughts are there, you have to watch in a way. So without thoughts, you have nothing to watch. Basically, you are simply living in a non-grasping, very relaxed state and you have nothing to worry. So you don't need to purposely sort of agitate yourself. I mean, just enjoy the silence, enjoy the calmness, enjoy the clarity of the mind. That's it. And in case there are thoughts, we already discussed what we can do. One thing is we can look at them and be aware that they are coming and going, but maintaining certain amount of a disengagement, kind of a maintaining certain amount of a distance. You are no more a thinker. You are not identifying with the thoughts, rather you are able to maintain the distance and you can see thoughts are coming and going. So either you are simply seeing how they come and go and you looking at from the impermanence point of view, else you are a little bit of dispassionate. Okay, they are there, I don't bother because I know that they definitely go. I am not promoting, I am not interesting of these thoughts. Then thoughts themselves have no power, no energy to sustain for a long time, they will disappear. Because now emptiness is very much like the norm of the mind. So you are not anymore a thinker, you are not anymore a complete obsessive thinker. Rather, you already have passed that stage. You were an obsessive thinker, but no more. Now you are really a silent observer. You can stay there. So silent observing may be a kind of a ground of the mind in a way. And it doesn't mean that the person is still an arahant because the subtle tendencies still may be operating. That's why even the Venerable Khemaka, being a non-returner, anagami, he is saying, even though I am not identifying none of the aggregates as myself. That's a very, very crucial point that he is highlighting. Now he has thorough understanding, none of the aggregates are me, myself. But still I have the sense of I. You can see in a way, Hare, really humble way that he is explaining it. I am not identifying any of the aggregates as myself, but still I have a sense of I. So, collectively, there's a very subtle sense of I still persisting in the mind. Yeah. Fragrance of the flower. Fragrance of the flower. Exactly. So, when certain fragrance is coming out from the flower, you can't say it is coming from the petals, so it can't coming from any other, whatever the component of the part of the flower, but the fragrance is still coming. So later he says, okay, now he's giving another simile that when during those days that the clothes are given a particular person to wash, right? When that person is washing, he is using different material to wash the cloth. On those days, they are using clay, they are using cow dung, and all different items are there to wash the cloth. As a result of that clothing, the washing process, now the cloth is washed. But what is there now? There's a bad smell. Cloth is clean, but there's a bad smell. So then he's saying, now the owner received the cloth. Now he's putting in a really incensed type of box. It is not really smelly, rather it is a fragrance type of a box. And keeping it for a while, say 1 week, and then after that, it's having a nice smell now. So likewise, he is saying, so the same process one has to do. There is no any specific task that one has to do. Continue the practice, then later even this subtle attachment, subtle identification will be abandoned. So therefore, there are many suttas like in the Kanda Sangyutta, there is Silavanta Sutta, Sutavanta Sutta. On those suttas also this point is highlighted in the sense, are we practicing a different practice to achieve an anagami, to achieve arahant? No, the same practice. Say one to become a sakadagami, okay, you practice one way. Sotapanna, it's the same way. And then from Sotapanna to Sakadagami, the same practice. Sakadagami to Anagami, the same practice. Anagami to Arahant, the same practice. There is no separate practices to different nobles, rather the same practice we are doing, but the refinement may happen. So you are capable of recognizing very subtle defilements as we are progressing, which we are unable to understand while we are at the very early stages of our practice. So likewise, the refinement may go through, detachment, relinquishment may happen further and further, but the same practice that we have to continue.
Bhante, now that same yogis, now the thoughts come and go. The yogi wants to know, when you're observing the thought that comes and go, whether to label it.
Not essential. Labeling may be useful at first, maybe. But sometimes later you can't even label them. They are quickly coming and going. There is no time even to label. They are quickly disappearing. Then you can't even label them what it is. And no point of going after them, following them and find out what they are. Not necessary at all. So the important thing is the freedom. How quickly we can achieve the freedom. Now you can see that is very well mentioned in the second level or different next level or next way of developing Bojjhanga, enlightenment factors. Sati sambojjhangam bhaveti viveka nisitang, viraga nisitang, nirodha nisitang, vassagga parinaming. So that's the last statement. So you are now developing, when you achieve emptiness, so the mind is fairly calm, very quiet, nothing is there. Now still you are developing the Bojjhanga, the enlightenment factors, but from a different angle now. You are not no more much struggling with different phenomena. Only when they are coming you can handle them. Otherwise just maintain that seclusion. Viveka nisitang. So you are maintaining that calmness, that quietude of the mind. Viveka nisitang, viraga nisitang. So whatever phenomena are coming, you have a little bit of a dispassion now. There is no much of an attraction. You are a little dispassionate towards them. Nirodha nisitang. And they come and go. Definitely, you are quite sure that they are definitely pass away. They will cease. In one sense you can say, you are you are no more doing any kind of, as we already discussed in the morning, so not much interest of making an episode in the mind. You know that typically we are making different episodes in the mind, different story, one story after another story, right? So you are enjoying one situation, one type of an enjoyment, and then jump to another kind of an enjoyment. From now, say, as we discussed, say we are seeing a movie, we are enjoying the flower garden. So we are enjoying one type of a scene. Then we are enjoying that two lovers are holding hands and they are loving each other, and then another kind of an episode. And then they are fighting each other, another kind of an episode. Now we have 3 episodes, for example. So one episode after another, mentally we are born to that episode. Right? We are born to that episode. That's how we are enjoying it. So through our mind also, it's the same thing. Again and again we are jumping one episode after another episode. This is how we are developing the bhava, state of existence in the mind. So it may be now sensual desire related existence, different kinds of experiences we are enjoying one after the other. We are being someone there, dwelling there and enjoying that. Now when we are in emptiness, what is the episode? No episode. I mean, you are utterly mindful. That's it. You are well grounded. You know that the no more the projection is capable of making a significant impression on the screen. Why? The doors are open and the light rays are hitting and illuminated the whole screen. You can't see the projected image. Similarly, when the mind is illuminated with wisdom, right? So the name and form no more can capture the consciousness. You are no more tangled in the name and form. So you are enjoying kind of a peacefulness, clarity of the mind, emptiness of the mind. That's it. Well grounded. No more making any kind of an existence in a way. So no movements in the mind. So therefore, at that time, just be. That's all. That's all we have to do. Okay.
Question number 4. Venerable Bhante, I have only practiced Anapana and Metta, loving kindness meditations. Can you explain how to practice element meditation with some examples? Within brackets, during this meditation, does investigating elements mean thinking how they occur in our body?
No. It is not thinking, it is merely experiencing. Now just to explain a little bit of elements meditation, say first of all you need to develop certain amount of say mindfulness, and as a result of that later you develop certain amount of concentration, and later you assume now we are doing walking meditation, and as a result of the available mindfulness and concentration, now you can recognize hardness, softness, roughness, smoothness, heaviness, lightness, heat, cold, movements, vibrations. Now these are the element characteristics. So we have to come to that level to understand these individual characteristics of each and every element. So there is one stage. So you can refer the Paving the Way, the book Paving the Way by Sayadaw Pandita, the very well-known book Paving the Way, a very small booklet. So there he is beautifully explaining stage by stage. First of all, you have a kind of a shape of the body. So the walking body, you capture the shape of it. So what is the experience of a walking body? Later, you pay attention to only to the more prominent area, say below the knees, for example. Then it appears like you are riding a bicycle. No more that I am walking, rather it appears like riding a bicycle, something like that. So your experience become more simplified. Later you are coming to the hardness, softness, roughness, smoothness. So that is another stage, what we call as the Pachatta Lakkhana, where the individual characteristics, the private characteristics of the each and every element. Earth element has its own characteristics. Water element has its own characteristics. Fire element has its own characteristics. Air element has its own characteristics. So you are recognizing them. Now we can say, now I have stepped into the elements meditation. Because it is not that I am doing something, rather elements are operating, I am capable of recognizing them.
Question number 5. Dear Bhante, I am a beginner to meditation practice. During both sitting and walking meditation, the sounds I hear or things I see don't bother me at all. What bothers me are my thoughts, sometimes past memories or reliving past moments. But more than that, it's a future speculations, dreams, to-do list, and even asking this question from you are thoughts that keep coming to me. Sometimes I keep my eyes slightly open and that helps. Sometimes I name the thought and try to let go. But sometimes by the time I realize I am not mindful, I have already had a few different thoughts. Sitting. There are times... Do you want to?
Go ahead, yeah.
Sitting. There are times I feel very relaxed. This is more like when we are about to fall asleep. Couple of times I fell asleep too. Other times I was able to just be there, like I am in between being awake and sleepy. I was aware of things and of me, but none bothered me. I still have thoughts. It was like these thoughts are floating around me. They come to my mind sometimes and they float away naturally. I can stay without thinking around these thoughts. This stage only lasts for a few minutes. I think, however, today I was able to stay in the state for a longer time. When the sleepiness came stronger, I kept my eyes open and maintained this stage. During this time, I can adjust my posture without disturbing this state. This level ends mostly by myself forcing me to think of breath or something else. I would like your thoughts on this.
I would like your thoughts.
I would like your thoughts.
No thoughts. I mean, you are doing something good. I mean, this is a very natural experience of a beginner. I mean, and again, still you are progressing. There are a fair amount of time to time good calmness is there, fair amount of concentration is there. I mean, nothing much to change. Just continue the path, continue the practice. You will achieve this so-called calmness, so-called less distractions, and you can simply maintain the attention on breathing for a longer period of time with time. So it's a matter of time. So it's again and again continue your practice, then you will achieve that.
Question number 5. Dear Bhante, 6. Wow. Okay, yes, 6. Sitting meditation. I think I am here sitting. I feel breath and different sensations. After some time, most of the sensations, including the breath, vanishes and body is integrated to the environment, making everything one. At different intervals, I feel a deep breath. Sometimes I feel everything as different shades of light. Sometimes blue, gold, black, etc. At times, some thoughts arise to interpret the experience. Sometimes different picture scenarios come. Since most respected sir advised with reference to a different question yesterday with regard to thoughts to see whether we could observe them without getting into them, should I observe them, these scenarios also, without getting into it? If I note these sanyas, those will disappear, and that is what I have been doing.
Good. That's no problem. I mean, same technique actually we can apply at different levels. Say whenever we are experiencing some bodily phenomena, say breathing, so we are not interfering it, we are not trying to control it, we let it happen as they want, but we can merely witness it, we can merely observe it. Same thing with feelings, there are different feelings are happening and we are not interfering them, and we allow them to come, allow them to be, allow them to go. Thoughts also same, any kind of sanya, perception also same. How capable that we maintain our mindful awareness without being trapped, without being sort of pulled into the experience, helps actually. So if we have this capacity, we can simply maintain this awareness without condition by whatever the conditioned phenomena arising and passing away. So typically what happens is, whenever certain thought arise, that assume it is a lustful thought, and we were in emptiness, we were in a very calm, very relaxed, very equanimous type of a mind, but this lustful thought has a taste of lust, And as we observe it, there's a tendency the mind get this taste, seep into the mind. So if we can avoid that, then no harm. Then this is very much like not making any influence to the mind. It will simply disappear. This happens only when we are fairly, strong in our mindfulness, strong in our wisdom. Otherwise, slowly these qualities of whatever these conditioned phenomena slowly seep into the mind. So mind get conditioned, mind get also colored, mind get defiled. But otherwise, no harm. I mean, they will come, they will go. I am still maintaining the calmness, still mind. So this is the state of the Arahant actually. I mean, it doesn't mean, but Arahant, we can't say they are getting the lustful thoughts, by the way. But he is saying, now you can refer Sona Sutta in Anguttara Nikaya Chakkanipata. So he is saying, when Sona is saying, so there are various sights, sounds, smells, tastes, tangibles, thoughts. And they may be beautiful or they may be really ugly and from the common point of view. And you can see them. There are millions, billions of all these things are coming and hitting the vision of the eye. But the mind remains unagitated. That's the interesting phenomena. His mind remains unagitated irrespective of these things are beautiful or ugly, pleasant or unpleasant. His mind has the capacity to maintain that sort of stillness or the stableness. Mind is quite stable. So different phenomena are happening. They may be good, they may be bad. From the point of view of from the worldly point of view, they may be good, they may be bad, they may be beautiful, they may be ugly, etc. But mind remains stable. Good.
Question number 7.
Okay.
Venerable Bhante, the explanations regarding the different stages in developing Anapanasati during Q&A yesterday addressed some of my confusions. It was so helpful. I nearly clapped and cheered. Much gratitude to Bhante. Also to the yogis who raised the question. I have two questions. Sitting meditation. After investigating the breath for a while, I go to a state with no thoughts. But I am aware of breathing. Is this an empty mind? Can this state lead to wisdom or should I go on to more investigation?
I think you can be there for a moment because in Anapanasati, since we are particularly referring that, so there are 16 steps that Buddha described at first. So after first 4 steps of Kayanupassana, then you are more into the second 4 steps in Vedananupassana. Then you are in the third 4 steps in Chittanupassana. So the Chittanupassana result is the freedom of the mind. So they are vimochayan chittang asasisamiti sikkati. So you are experiencing breathing while freeing the mind. There are no defilements, no thoughts, almost like mind is free. Achieving emptiness, but we can't say it is the full-fledged, fairly wise, fairly strong, fairly stable kind of an emptiness, but this is the beginning we can say. Because we came through Kayanupassana, we have a certain amount of developed mindfulness and wisdom. We came through Vedananupassana, again we have a certain amount of wisdom. Now we are going through Chittanupassana, again we have a certain amount of wisdom. So now we are able to achieve maybe a short period of emptiness, freedom of the mind, non-grasping state of mind. But as we all know, the emptiness, the understanding and all that is deepening, right? So it is not a beginner's understanding of an emptiness that after a while another seasoned practitioner may be enjoying. He may be deeply see it, deeply understand it. From the non-self point of view, from that, non-grasping point of view, from many different angles his understanding is growing. But as a yogi is progressing, he can get the flavor of it.
Question number 2, walking meditation. I can focus on the steps for 15 to 20 steps. However, I feel the presence of I, me. This is not present in sitting meditation. Should I address this and how?
While walking, I mean, one sense is that while walking, you are not getting much support from the samadhi, but mindfulness and wisdom is there. It is capable of knowing this. Eye making and mind making, it's happening, not being suppressed by samadhi. So there's a capacity to come out, and you can notice it. It's a good thing. So therefore, it is not something bad. You can notice it. And I mean, at this level, I feel you can come back to the body. If you can recognize the mind, how it is making, how it is trying to grasp, and how it is trying to identify with whatever, if you can see that, if you can recognize and let go that, then that eye making may disappear. You are not promoting eye making. You are not promoting any kind of mind making. If you can see it without being confused, you can continue that, no problem.
Question number 8, sitting meditation. Friday, when I first began meditation, I could focus on my in-breath and out-breath for 5 to 7 minutes. I felt my body light, but I heard some noises and I couldn't focus on breath and was restless. Friday night, I started metta meditation. Saturday also, before starting Anapanasati, I did metta meditation and it was successful. While meditating, I felt burning sensation in my head, and I felt that it was due to anger, which I cannot describe for any reason. Today, I felt breathing and could examine that my upper body expands when inhaling and could feel tummy shrink when exhale. I could see eyes, shapes, colors, but didn't pay attention. Felt calm. But around 11, I felt the incidents which made me angry. Actually, when those incidents happened, injustices, I didn't feel angry, but I felt scared as the people made the problems were superiors of mine. It was superiors. They were...
They are superiors.
His or her superiors are the ones who made these...
wrong things, whatever.
Yes, where he or she felt angry. I didn't feel angry, but I felt scared as the people who made me angry are my superiors. It was like a film I was watching. After a few minutes, they faded away and I felt calm. Question. Bhante, could you briefly explain the meaning of Dittincha Anupagamma Silava Dasanena Sampanno, last verse of Karaniya Metta Sutta?
Now we we can't explain in 1 minute, by the way. Now, Dittincha Anupagamma. So you are not adhering to any kind of a wrong view. And Silava, still having the Sila, morality is still there. Dittincha Anupagamma Silava Dasanena Sampanno. And you have achieved the real proper view, in a way, correct view. So there are different sides actually we have to look into. Now, one thing is that we are sort of confused about different views. Okay, people are talking one view, another view, and different views are there, wrong views are there. And one nature of the wrong view, it tends to grasp. So any kind of a wrong view, it may be telling about something correct also, but if the mind's tendency to grasp it, then we being hooked up with it. Then we haven't properly understood the Buddha's right view. So one important aspect of the right view, the Sammaditthi, is that it doesn't allow you to grasp. If you are grasping anything, even a good thing, then you haven't really understand what Buddha is saying about the right view. So the more you have right view, more mind has to be open. Mind can't be sticky. Mind can't be having the grasping, clinging nature. Rather, mind can't grasp in another way. More you have right view, mind is unable to grasp. So very interesting. Now, say for example, assume that this has something really valuable. I say, okay, it's filled with gems. Okay, then you may have some attachment and you want to steal it and you want to hold it and you have to carry it and it's value it and you need to venerate it, whatever, something is there. Say, someone is saying, okay, and you see also there is nothing is there, just mere water is there, or maybe something, dirt is there. And you have nothing to grasp then. You can simply keep it, right? So, when you see that nothing is worthy of grasping, through the wisdom, that's it. I mean, nothing to grasp then. So the wisdom helps to understand nothing is worthy of grasping, in a way. So the right view helps us to understand, I mean, nothing is belong to me, and there is nothing so-called self, and what belongs to a self, then what is there to grasp? Nothing is there to grasp then. So basically, so the right view, more and more we are sharpening, so it helps us to understand, okay, none of the material belong to me. None of the material has any self. I mean the material, physical. Same thing, feelings, perceptions, blah, 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 etc. Then more you have that understanding, the mind is unable to grasp it. So therefore, the right view indicates that it is avoiding the mind's grasping nature. It's minimizing the grasping nature of the mind. So therefore, we can say, if that proper dassana, proper type of wisdom is there, he's growing in that wisdom further maybe, and then dittinja anupagamma, now he is not adhering to any kind of a wrong view. He's not grasping any view anymore. And still maintaining the sila. He is not giving up the sila. He is maintaining certain kind of ethical, moral conduct. So, what's that whole verse? Dittincha anupagamma silava dassanena sampanno kamesu vinaya gedham. So, whatever the sensualities, sensual desires, sensual cords, there is no attachment to any of those sensual cords. Panchakama, sounds, sights, smells, tastes, tangibles, all that, five sensual cords, and he has no gedha. Gedha means greediness, attachment. He has no attachment to any of these five sense cords. Kamesu vinaya gedhang nahi jatu gabbaseyang punaretiti. Now he never comes back to the womb of this sensual world. It's an unreturner, basically. So the Karaniyametta Sutta ends telling that this person is now achieving the non-returner state. He no more comes back to the human or the sensual realm, because he has completely let go of the greediness, the attachment, the lust, desire towards the five sense cords, and he has properly achieved this, the panya, the wisdom, the right view, and he has completely given up the wrong views and maintaining the moral conduct. It's a non-returner. Very advanced actually. I mean, so you can see, I mean, Buddha, it's not the mere metta, loving kindness. It's talking a very high practice actually. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Correct. The thing is, as we are growing in our right view, so the point is, even though we can simply discuss, I mean, we can't achieve the perfect right view immediately. So that's why it is evolving quality. I mean, this right view is, we may be starting with the, okay, I don't want to, I mean, these are the good things, these are the wholesome things, these are the unwholesome things. That is also right view. Kusalancha pajanati, akusalancha pajanati. Right? That's also right view. Then you understand, okay, things are impermanent. That's another very fairly high level of right view. So that through the developed mindfulness and concentration, you see for yourself that, say, feelings are impermanent. say these bodily phenomena are impermanent, thoughts are impermanent. That's another fairly high level of right view. So likewise, this right view is a growing quality. So we can't say it's just that we immediately achieve the perfect one. So as we are growing, so our right view is growing also. Yeah.
Question number 9. Venerable Bhante, seated meditation. Focused on the breath. Mind and body were very relaxed. Observe the subtle breath movement as well as other subtle movements and sensations arising and passing in the body, almost at the same time. It was a general awareness. Once a thought popped saying, look deeper. Observed the awareness becoming vast. The heaviness of the body was no more. However, the weight of the body was there. There were short periods of silence within. Walking meditation. There too, it was more a mere general awareness of the sensations arising and passing as the soles of the foot as well as the environmental factors. There were a few occasions when the thought became a story. However, this too passed very quickly. The moment mindfulness was established, was also able to walk a few laps with a fair level of silence in the mind.
Can you repeat the last statement?
Thought became a story. However, this too passed very quickly. The moment mindfulness was established.
Good. I mean, this is quite good. So you are capable of handling it, and you have observed that the mind is sometimes making stories, but once the mindfulness is established, you are no more a victim of it. You are no more a part of it. It disappears. It's a good observation, and seems, you are doing good, because it is not that you immediately started the Chittanupassana, rather you are continuing with Kayanupassana, but slowly the skill is developed even to handle the mental part. It's a good thing.
Question number 10, 2 parts. In Sinhalese. Garu Swamin Wahansa ඇවිදීම හෝ සක්මන් භාවනාව ක්‍රමයේදී දෙපා මත සිහිය තබා ඇවිද්දෙමි. හිත විසිරී යන බවක් දැනුන නිසා හුස්මට සිහිය තබා ඇවිද්දෙමි. එය මගින් හිත විසිරී යාම නැවතුණි. ශබ්ද ඇසුණත් මා හුස්ම මත සිහිය තබා සක්මන් කළෙමි. ටික වේලාවකින් නිදිමතක් දැනුනි. එහෙත් දිගටම සිහිය හුස්ම මත තබා සක්මන් කළෙමි. ටික වේලාවකින් ඇවිද යන බවක් නොදැනුනි. හුස්ම ගැන මතකයද නොතිබුණි. පාවෙන බවක් දැනුනි. කීප විටක් වැටෙන්නටද ගියෙමි. මෙසේ හුස්ම මත සිහිය තබා සක්මන් කිරීම නිවැරදිද?
නැත. නෑ, ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් මෙහෙමයි. දැන් අපිට පුළුවන් ඔක බැරි නැහැ. කෙනෙකුට මේ දේ කරන්න පුළුවන්. නමුත් එතකොට ඉතින් සක්මන් භාවනාවෙන් ලැබෙන ප්‍රතිලාභ ටික ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැ ඉතින්. ආනාපාන සතියනේ වඩලා තියෙන්නේ මේ සක්මනේදීත්. ඒ නිසා ආනාපාන සතිය වඩලා වඩන්න, සක්මන් කරද්දී සක්මන කරන්න. එතකොට ඒ කියන්නේ මෙතන අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ ඉන්ද්‍රිය ධර්මයන්ගේ වෙන පැත්තක් ඩෙවලොප් වීම. ඒ කියන්නේ ආනාපාන සතිය ඉඳගෙන භාවනා කරද්දී එතනදී විශේෂයෙන්ම සතියේ යම්කිසි ෂාප් වීමක්, හරි මුවහත් වීමක්, ඊළඟට සමාධිය බොහොම තියුණු වීමක්, ඊළඟට ප්‍රඥාව ඉතින් මේක දැකගෙන යන්න ගියොත් ඉතින් එතන ප්‍රඥාවුත් වඩා ගන්න බැරි නැහැ. දැන් ඊළඟ සක්මනේදී තියෙන එහෙම එකක් නෙමෙයි. සක්මනේදී බාධා බහුලයි. හිත පිට යනවා, අනිත් අයත් සක්මන් කරනවා, සද්ද ඇහෙනවා. ඒතකොට මේ බාධා මැද්දේ පුළුවන් ද අපිට ඕන තැන අපිට අවශ්‍ය තැන අපේ හිත පවත්වන්න. ඉතින් ඒකම තමයි අභියෝගය. ඉතින් ඒක අපි පුරුදු වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒක අභියෝග මැද්දේ මේක කරන්න තමයි මේ හැකියාව ගොඩ නැගෙන්නේ. ඉතින් අපි මේක බෑ කියලා අපි S2 පියාගෙන සක්මන් කරොත් ඒත් වැඩේ සාර්ථක නැහැ. අපි මේක බෑ කියලා ආනාපාන සතිය වඩමින් සක්මන කරොත් ඒත් ඉතින් මේ ප්‍රශ්නේ විසඳෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඉතින් මේ අවශ්‍ය කරන හැකියාවන් ටික ගොඩ නැගෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඉතින් ඒකයි සක්මන් භාවනාවේ එක ආනිසංසයක් වශයෙන් බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේ පෙන්නනවා පදහනක් කමෝ හෝති කියලා. කියන්නේ යාට මේ ඕනම අභියෝගයක් ජය ගැනීමේ ප්‍රධාන වීරයක් යා තුළ ගොඩ නැගෙනවා. ඒක මේ බාධා මැද්දේ කිරීම තුලින්මයි ඒක ගොඩ නැගෙන්නේ. ඒ නිසා ඒක කාලය ගන්න. ඒ නිසා ඉමීඩියට්ලි මේක අපි අර ඉඳගෙන කරන භාවනාවේ වගේ පාවෙන ගතියක්, සමාධි ගතියක්, ධ්‍යාන ලබා ගැනීමක් සක්මනේදී බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. සක්මනේදී හොඳ මනසේ සැහැල්ලු වීමක්, මනසේ පැහැදිලි ගතිය වැඩි වීමක්, අර ඔක්කොම බාධා සද්ද රූප ඔක්කොම පෙනෙද්දි Tamanට ඕන තැනට හිත තැබීමක්. ඊට පස්සේ ඒ තැබුවට පස්සේ ඒකේ විස්තර පොඩ දැන් කලින්ට වඩා ඒක දැනීමක්. ඒතර මේවා ඇහෙන් බලනවා නෙමෙයිනේ නේද? එතකොට අපේ ඇහැ වෙන කොහෙදෝ බලන් ඉඳද්දී හිතින් බලනවා මේ දැනෙන දැනීම දිහා. ඒතර මෙතන තියෙන අමුතුම හැකියාවක් අපි මේ බිල්ඩ් කරන්නේ. ඒක හරි ඉන්ටරෙස්ටිං. ඒක හරි වැදගත්. ඇත්තටම විශේෂයෙන්ම විපස්සනාවකට. මොකද අනිත් එක තමයි අපි මේ එදිනදා ජීවිතේ ජීවත් වෙනකොට අපිට ලැබෙන සිටුේෂන් එක මේ ඉඳගෙන S2 පියාගෙන භවනා කරන සිටුේෂන් එක නෙමෙයි. අපිට එළියේදී ලැබෙන අත්දැකීම මේ බොහෝ සෙයින් සක්මනේදී ලැබෙන අත්දැකීමට සමානයි. විවිධාකාර මිනිස්සු සද්ද බද්ද කරද්දී විවිධ රූප පෙනෙද්දී ඔක්කොම බාධා තියෙද්දී හැබැයි අපේ යම්සි අරමුණක් තියෙනවා. අන්න ඒක ඉෂ්ට කරගන්න ඕනේ නේද? ඒතර ඔන්න ඔය අභ්‍යාසය හරි ලස්සනට සක්මන තුලදී ගොඩනගෙනවා. ඒ නිසා මම නම් ඇත්තටම කැමති නැහැ සක්මන් කර කර ආනාපාන සතිය වඩනවාට.
දෙවැනි කොටස පරියංකයේදී හුස්ම කෙරේ හිත යොමු කළා. ටික වේලාවකින් යද්දී ශරීරය ඇතුලේ මගේ හෘද වස්තුව එළියට ඇවිත් දඟලනවා වගේ දැනුණා. අනිත් මොනවත් දැනුනේ නැහැ. හෘද වස්තුව එළියේ තියනවා වගේ දැනුනි. ඒක එක්කම කහපාට එළියක් වගේ දැක්කා. ඒක හරිම ප්‍රීතිමත් මොහොතක්. මම මොකුවත් කළේ නැහැ. සියල්ල බලාගෙන හිටියා. ටික වෙලාවකින් නැති වුණා. මේක මගේ මනස් විකාරයක්ද? උපදෙස්.
නෑ එහෙම විකාරයක් නෙවෙයි. ඒකෙන් තියෙන අතන හැබැයි දැන් ඔය හෘද වස්තුව එළියට ආවම ඒක දිහා බලන්න. මේ ඒක වවුලක් නැහැ දැන්. ඒතර මුළු කයම දැන් අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. මේ හෘද වස්තුව වගේ දෙයක් දැන් අරමුණු වෙලා තියෙනවා. එතන යම්සි ভাইබ්‍රේෂන් එකක් වෙනස් වීමක්, කම්පනයක් Tamanට දැනෙනවා. ඒ දැනීමත් එක්ක ඉන්න ඔය ආලෝක පැත්තක් දැන් ආපේක ඒකෙත් වරදක් නැහැ. ඒ කියන්නේ හිතේ සමාධි පැත්තට බරයි. මේ ලියන කෙනාට සමාධියට බරයි. වරදක් නැහැ ඉතින්. හැබැයි අර හෘද වස්තුවෙන් තියෙන ඒ දැනීම් ටිකට මූලිකත්වය දෙන්න. කොහොමද මේ කම්පනයක් සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ? දැනීමක් නිකන් අපිට හෘද වස්තුව ভাইබ්‍රේට් වෙනකොට ගැස්සෙනවනේ දැනීමක් තියෙනවනේ නේද? අන්න ඒකට දිහා හොඳට සූක්ෂමව බලාගෙන ඉන්න. මෙතනින්ම හොඳ විපස්සනා පැත්තකට අරමුණක් ගන්න පුළුවන්. හරි.
One Dhamma question, Swaminathan. What is the link between Nama, Rupa, Vijnana, independent origination and 5 aggregates? Feeling and contact in Nama and feeling and contact later found in dependent origination, are they the same?
We can't say the same. It's very much like in the name and form. It's a very interesting question. The name part we already discussed. Vedana, Sanya, Chetana, Passa, Manasikara. Okay? Vedana is the feeling part. Then Sanya, the kind of sensation part. Chetana, the volition part. Sanya, Chetana, Passa, the contact part. And then the attention part. Now these are the very, very fundamental qualities. Later what happened, as we are growing, now name and form will condition Salayatana. Then Salayatana condition Passa. Passa conditions Vedana. Vedana conditions further into the Tanha. All that thinking and all this are happening. But that is more into the gross level. Gross feelings are there. Now that is where, assume now, just to give an example, say, we took that example another occasion. While you are being bored, you got a picture of an ice cream. Just a picture. Just a name and form of an ice cream. Now, does it have a feeling? It has a very subtle feeling, right? I mean, you love it. I mean, it's giving certain kind of a happiness to the mind. So it's an ice cream, right? So you have a very pleasant feeling in the mind now. Now, again, you recognize it as an ice cream. You recognize it. The perception part is there. Now you think about the ice cream. Okay, which type of ice cream I am going to think or eat or whatever, right? So certain amount of very subtle thinking. And then your attention is drawn to that. And now you are further and further start thinking. Now it is not mere name and form. It might have grown to the manayatana level. Now mind filled with so much of thinking about it. Now you can't stop at the thinking. Now you get up. Okay, now you get up. Now you start walking. Now you open the fridge. Now you take the ice cream. Now all these are salayatana. All these now taken to another level of gross sensations, gross contact. Now you open the ice cream, now you take a little and now you taste it. Now the gross kind of real feeling is there. Okay, the real feeling of ice cream, now you feel it. What do you experience in name and form then? That is also a feeling, but something extracted. You remember the taste of the feeling of an ice cream. From that you have a little bit of sense of feeling of that. So therefore the feeling part, perception part, contact part, all that available at the name and form are the very subtle, minute kind of parts of the real contact, real feeling, real thinking, all that. So the gross thing really happens at the last part of the Patissamuppada level. Okay, 1:35. Okay, I got to go. So there's something to tell. I hope there are no more questions. Sorry. Okay, today breakfast dana was offered by Mihiri in memory of her father's death anniversary. May his sansaric journey be good and attain Nibbana. So that's the short sharing of merits we have. So today also we have spent fair amount of time, and some of you have spent all 3 days here. And whatever the merits we have accumulated, we share with all the celestial beings and all past relatives, and we wish these merits help us also to attain path fruition Nibbana. We will recite the traditional verses. Ettavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhiya. Ettavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhiya. Ettavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhiya. Akasatta cha bummatta deva naga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu sasanang. Akasatta cha bummatta deva naga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu desanang. Akasatta cha bummatta deva naga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu mamparang. Idang vo ñātīnaṃ hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Idang vo ñātīnaṃ hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Idang vo ñātīnaṃ hotu sukita hontu ñātayo. Imina punya kammena māme bāla samāgamo satang samāgamo hotu yāva nibbāna pattiya. Idamme punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu.